Yes. Welcome, people. Welcome to the Two Times One podcast. Samuel and Arham here. I think it's been in the works for a minute. I think we spoke about doing this in like November or something. So yeah, it's been a minute. And yeah, we're here. First episode. Today's when March, so we're about to get into the thick of the title race and obviously top four race and relegation race. So yeah, we got a lot to talk about in the coming weeks and stuff. But let's just have an introduction, brief but smooth introduction. Arham, yeah, man, how you doing? Welcome to the podcast. Welcome to the journey, basically.
Yeah, I'm good, brother. I'm good, man. It's been good few months. We've had this idea. Finally, we actually got it up and running. Obviously, about our schedules and whatnot. But yeah, finally got up and running, and yeah, got a lot of things planned, bro. We got a lot of things planned.
Yeah, even yesterday we recorded a few times and lost the recording. So this is basically like the sixth take, I think, of episode one. So yeah, obviously good things take time, as they say. So let's hope that we can take it from here. Two times podcast. I think before we get into it, you want to talk about a charity that you want to share.
Yeah. So obviously a friend of mine recently started a charity. So he's not started, but like he's raising some funds for Palestine. Yeah. So for Palestine. So in general, he just wants to obviously we're seeing what's going on with our people suffering, starved, tortured, displaced. So he's just trying to raise as much money as possible. So if you can, guys, just link in the description. Link will be obviously on the front of my pinned on my Twitter page as well. So if you can donate, if you can share, I'll appreciate it.
Link will be in the description. And yeah, you can check. I'll retweet as well, so you can check both our pages if you wanna donate, or if you can't, as Arham said, share. So yeah, obviously, gonna get into the episode.
Talk about Liverpool.
Cool. Gonna get into things straight away. Liverpool versus Brighton ended in a 2-1 victory, and Man City and Arsenal ended in a 0-0 draw. I think we're going to touch on the Liverpool game first. Obviously, Arham, I know you watched it briefly,
Yeah.
too tough. But yeah, what were your, just tell me like what were your general thoughts on the game? Yeah,
Basically, I thought personally, obviously, I was gonna watch it. I thought it was gonna be like a 4-0, 4-0 Liverpool win. Wasn't really like invested. I was like Brighton at home, got loads of injuries. They're not good at defending. It's gonna be rough. Danny Welbeck scored, and I got lured in. You know what I'm saying? So after like 2-3 minutes after the goal, I went downstairs, turned the TV on, put the game on, and after 5 minutes I lost hope. Even when it was still 1-0 up, Brighton. I lost hope. I was like, like, they can't weather the
keep
storm.
level.
Like,
Mm.
it's not gonna work out. But what do you think? Because obviously you're way more invested in it than I was. What do you think? How do you think it all played out?
Um, yes, obviously, 2 minutes in, they scored, and if I'm honest, as a Liverpool fan, that was probably the best time for them to score. I think Liverpool are definitely a team that thrive with in an uneven game state. So when they're 1-0 down, or when they go down, or we're a team that thrives when we need to score. In that sense, so when they scored, it was early, and I was kind of in that sense I was happy because obviously scoring early at Anfield, knowing that we still need to attack the cop end, knowing that I think it's like 88 minutes left, I think it was. So there was a lot of time left, and then from even when they scored, from there basically controlled proceedings. I think Brian didn't have across the whole game didn't have too many chances. Even though they did threaten and they did cause us some issues, but I don't think we allowed them to get into the rhythm of playing and trying to attract space and play, trying to play. So yeah, I was happy with. I think I was definitely happy with the pressing performance. I think our front line, our eights, he liked to jump up and join the first line. They were really, really good at trying to stop them from playing. I think their pivot, I think Baleba and Gross, I think it was, couldn't really dictate play, couldn't really affect the game in the way they wanted. I think Baleba had a good game though. Baleba had a good game. He's got a nice carry. He can really ride tackles and move the team up the pitch. But I think we were very intense, very like quick to get onto their plays whenever they got the ball. One thing that I liked about the pressing performance was that, because obviously Brighton love to not spam, but they love the wall pass. So you pass into midfield,
Yeah,
pass
yeah,
it back to the defender, and then they can play a pass to the midfield. But it was very, very good. I think Szoboszlai in particular was very good at chasing the ball backwards, chasing back passes. I think probably Klopp definitely said to them that a wall pass is definitely a trigger for them to press. And so Buzz in particular was really good at like spoiling that part of the game. So I was happy in that sense. And then yeah, going forward, I think yeah, a very standard Anfield attacking performance. They couldn't stop us from playing through and getting to the final third. I think Brighton, they were compact-ish, but not compact enough to stop us from playing through. I think they rely on 1v1s across the pitch. I don't think like with Arsenal, they like to double up and make sure that the winger comes back. What's his name? Kai Havertz comes back. Basically, all your players come back to defend. Brighton kind of rely on one v
man to
ones
man.
across the pitch. Yeah, and we were very very good at playing through them. I think Bradley, Salah were very good at going through their right hand side. Salah was able to get into that half space really really well. So yeah, in that sense, attacking was really good. I think we definitely was more right side dominant, right sided. Like we focus our attack down the right side more than left side. And yeah, McAllister had a sensational game. I think probably the man of the match, you say. He was able to get on the ball in basically optimal conditions. I think with McAllister, he will thrive if you give him time to turn and face and play in balls, and he got that time basically. So yeah, sensational performance. I think obviously Endo top class again. He's been really consistent. Obviously Kwanzaa had a good game. Bradley, I mentioned, Szoboszlai looks good in that left eight position. I think I like him there right now, although he didn't have the best game on the ball, off the ball, and in moments you could tell that if you give him time, he could probably make that position his own. But yeah, I think apart from that, I think I was happy. There wasn't like much surprise about the performance. There wasn't like much all that happened, or whatever. I just think it was a standard Liverpool goal, 1-0 down, and we're able to attack basically from there. Yeah, so that's my thoughts on the game as a whole. Yeah, no injuries, obviously.
Mm.
And obviously we've got players coming back. So yeah, I think going forward, this probably sets a good banana skin. And to be fair as well, I kind of thought that Brighton was a banana skin. I don't know why, and I haven't really followed Brighton too much this season, but just looking at their name, obviously knowing the Derby, knowing the way they play, and to be fair, we have I think in recent time we got a bit of trauma with Brighton. I think last season when we were bad, they really De Zerbi killed us at their ground, and even De Zerbi's first game was at Anfield, and I think it was a 3-3 draw. So I don't know. I kind of felt a bit scared, but yeah, we got through. It wasn't really scary. It wasn't really thing. And yeah, I think from there, title race looks good in first place. Arsenal second. And yeah, I think that's what I say about the game. Yeah,
Yeah, I thought in the end, I thought like for me personally, I thought like after the first 5 minutes, I think what Brighton couldn't close off was those spaces in the center, so in the
Yeah,
pockets. So like you had McAllister, especially. I think he had time and space to hit the same pass in behind their left back. Estepinian, like loads of times.
yeah.
Salah had like 10 shots or something like that.
11,
Uh,
yeah, 11, yeah. I
that's
think the
outrageous.
most shots.
You can't
Yeah,
give him. He had a bad day, but if he didn't have a bad day, it's very possible he scored a hat trick. Yeah,
yeah,
so at least. So like, and in the end, I think they're not very good at. So the space between the defensive line and the midfield line, they were just too big. So
yeah.
they had a lot of space in the pockets. Obviously, Bradley had an amazing game as well. So Bradley was bombing down the flank. Um, Salah inside caused a lot of damage. Obviously, it wasn't his best game, but he was still a threat as always.
And
Um,
even Nunes was quiet-ish as
yeah,
well,
Nunes,
to be fair as well.
I thought I thought Luis Diaz was really good. I thought he had a really good game. Obviously, the plan was to maybe overload the right side a bit more,
Yeah,
and have him isolated against their right back, who I think was
I think it was
Veltman.
Veltman,
Veltman, yeah,
yeah,
Veltman, who didn't have the best game. So in the end, I thought it was pretty standard. Great loads of chances. Conceded a few half chances, which was as a result of because Bradley was so high. Your backline had to shift across to Adingra, who had a good game as well. So
yeah,
in the end, though, it's pretty comfortable. I'll be honest. Apart from the part maybe at the end where he didn't even manage the game as well.
yeah,
But
yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah. Yeah, what do you think on just right? I know, see, I haven't watched them too much this season. Probably, maybe you haven't, but why do you think Zerbi doesn't put? Obviously, he does. Obviously, like I'm sure that he's aware that defensively his teams are open. And I'm sure that he knows that it's something that he needs to look at. But why do you just maybe I don't know? Well, yeah. Why do you think his teams are easy-ish or not? Yeah, yeah, they're easy-ish to play through. They're not especially known
Mm,
or renowned for their defensive work. Like,
yeah,
and obviously this has I think this has probably followed the Zerbi at Sassuolo where he played where he first no yeah Sassuolo
yeah. Sassuolo,
shut the
mad.
nest as well. Yeah, so why do you think is it? But yeah, like, what about yeah? Why does the Zerbi's teams not defend as well as they should?
For me, I don't think they, as I said before, they don't block. I think a lot of teams in the league have this problem. They don't defend the spaces. They don't defend well in the middle. They don't defend the pockets well enough. Like I was watching like Newcastle West Ham like on
Oh,
Saturday.
Newcastle, yeah,
Bro, the amount of time and space these guys have between the midfield and the defense is crazy. Like they don't defend the passes. They don't block passes well
yeah,
to the middle, and that's if you're against the Man Cities, the Arsenals, and obviously the Liverpools I was just talking about. If you don't block the middle well, you're not gonna be able to stop chance creation. That's obviously a problem. Arsenal, for example, have had a lot this season, particularly at the start of the season, where we had a problem accessing the middle against teams. Um,
hmm,
I don't know about if Liverpool have had that problem a lot, but um,
definitely, yeah, for sure,
yeah, but yeah, if you're gonna do anything, you have to. If you're gonna defend well, you have to block the middle off well. You have to block the pockets and block the entry passes into it. So I don't think that's what Brighton do well, but they go man to man a lot. So and they don't have the
mm,
athletes right now like they had
yeah,
maybe last season to
yeah,
compensate for that to defend big spaces. So if any team does hire the Zerbi in summer, that's one thing that you need to probably do, and that is to get the best out of his strengths. Because obviously they had the best build up, probably like Pep said, they had the best build up in the world. So
yeah,
like they're amazing. The coach is amazing at teaching his teams to progress up the pitch. But if you want for defensive reasons, for the like, I'm not gonna say tactical barriers that his team have. I think they probably need the big space athlete to
yeah.
defend that. Yeah.
Fair. I think that makes sense. I think even looking at last season, and to be fair, I think that's where I think you probably give but I think even looking at McAllister, he definitely, although obviously he isn't the best physically, like size wise, but he had that intensity
Mm.
with his pressures, with his tackles, with his duels, and yeah, I think that definitely makes sense. So yeah, makes sense. I think we'll move on to probably the big game of the weekend, the big one, to maybe the more exciting one. um, what do you call it? But yeah, Arsenal versus Liverpool. I mean, versus Man City.
Yeah,
0-0 at the Etihad. I think Arsenal. Obviously, yeah, I'll give my brief
yeah,
overview of the
yeah.
game. Obviously, you can take away from there. Obviously, I think Arsenal probably went to the game, and I would be shocked. I would be very, very shocked and disappointed in Arteta if the game plan was to go there and sit back and not attack and maybe nick it on the goal. So I don't think Arteta is that kind of coach. I think he's definitely a proactive coach. No, there's no way that you can call him a defensive or pragmatic. Oh, of course he is pragmatic in some ways, but I think his overarching philosophy is to attack, is to dominate, and I think Man City. I think Pep on the other hand had a plan to enforce this kind of game, knowing that
Mm.
they don't have the profiles to really play through. Obviously, John Stones wasn't playing. I think there was a few. I think John Stones and someone else and Edison. They weren't available. So I think Pep went there, came to Etihad and wanted to dominate the game in this way. And I think obviously Arteta maybe had this was the plan to counter that basically. So yeah, not enough possession, obviously, not enough transitional moments or successful transitional moments. Even the first phase, I think even the first phase from Arsenal wasn't good enough. Um, yeah, so that's my overview. I think they probably struggled and with individual quality on the day. But yeah, that's my brief overview of the game. Obviously, you're an Arsenal fan. You follow the team for yeah for a long time. Yeah, what was the why did Arsenal not go there and play like they played at Anfield in the first half? For
Mm.
example, why didn't they go? Because it's not as if like you guys followed whenever it's a big game. So yeah, what is it? Why did you not? Why did you guys not do it the way you usually do it at
Yeah.
big games?
I think as well. I think it's a mixture. So it's a mixture of us adapting, and it's a mixture of what we were forced to do. Now, like you said, I don't think the initial game plan was to sit back. I don't think it was. I don't think it was at all. I think if you see in the first 2 minutes, the back line pushes up to the close to the halfway line, and we're trying to press them. But the problems we had in our pressing as a result of what Pep did tactically, which I'll get onto in a second. But basically, the blueprint was, in my opinion, to maybe not press high, but to be adaptable. Maybe a mid block, press high from goal kicks, etc. Um, but like as I said, in the first 2 minutes, they almost got in behind straight away. Now, obviously, I think our line kept a decent. Our line basically did its job and played Haaland offside. But I think the problem was, first things first, a high press wasn't good enough because I think what Pep did is he moved Kovacic into the back line. He pushed his fullbacks extremely wide, and that's also what Porto did against us to an extent.
And even Liverpool did that against you guys in the game at Anfield. We split us in the backs, put Trent in the CCB spot, and literally
Exactly.
ping and ball. So yeah, that is a tactic that could be something to look out for Arsenal
Arsenal, yeah.
in regards to disengaging their press. But yeah,
Yes, you're right. Yeah, you're right. So that's what the teams are doing. If you have the quality to play these passes more like further to spread the play a bit better, what happens is that you stretch our lineup with less compact. Yeah, so less compact. So you're stretching, especially the second line. So you're stretching Saka all the way to Gvardio on the other side, which means that they can drop their players a bit deeper. They have more space in the middle, and they can get through our pressure, and which is something not a lot of teams been able to do this season against our high press. So That's one reason, and a second reason, we couldn't get out. We just couldn't get out. Man City's press was unreal. Like it was unreal. I don't think we had good composure at all in the first when we were trying to build out from the back. I don't think our composure was good. I thought the goalkeeper had a mare. I thought in terms of his kicking, but their press was incredible. Like Jorginho got like 10 passes all game. That's crazy for a player.
That's insane. That's insane.
That's because every time we got the ball, he was blocked. Yeah, no passing option. Like for example, when Silva got the ball, he couldn't pass anyone because the passing and everything was blocked. And in the end, we got fourth long, and we didn't have the outlets to stretch and City to push them back to go long because we didn't have. I said before the game, if we didn't have Martinelli playing, I don't think we'll win. Because I just didn't think we'd threaten them enough. And in the end, he was a massive loss. I don't think Saka was fully fit. I think you could tell. There were some things that he actually got clamped. Like he got clamped, but there were some things where when he was running, he wasn't running at his optimal level. But that was a problem. I just think it's a mixture of two things. We couldn't get out. We couldn't get out of the Man City's press, and we didn't have our fast players up front. And we couldn't press them. Well, we did press them high, and we did get a success a few times. But that was more to do with their mistake than ours. And we decided, you know what? We're not going to be able to gauge higher up the pitch. Let's just try and keep things tight and block the middle very well and force them wide to try and create chances. So in the end, it was just whole game. Like, wasn't much to talk about, but I don't think this is something we should really. I don't think this is a big. We can't really make much conclusions from this game because we won't really face that sort of game the rest of the season unless we meet them in the Champions League. Which
Would be good for us. Would be good for us.
Right, what were you thinking during the game? Because obviously, if you're neutral, well, you're not neutral, but like, you're still invested. But like, it was also very boring. What did you make of it?
So obviously, I think you've played City 3 times now. Community Shield at home at Emirates, and obviously now Etihad. Out of the 3 games, I watched all 3 of them, and I think my favourite game was the first game, the Community Shield. I don't know, maybe it was the stadium, maybe it was like, the occasion, although Community Shield isn't that big, but I just felt like and to be fair, all games were kind of similar. It's not as if you guys were more on the front foot or you guys were more. I think the intent from these 2 games were similar. I think in the Community Shield game, I think you guys were. I think I remember you guys were really good at. I think the party for that game. The party player.
Yeah, he was.
Yes, exactly. So you guys, and I remember Declan Rice was really important in playing just behind your first line of pressure and winning balls, and it was a similar game where City were trying to probe and Arsenal were winning balls back, and that game was a bit more end to end in the sense that you guys won more balls and you guys were more dangerous on the transition.
Yeah, for sure.
I think this game was probably the most boring game out of the 3 games that you've played with them this season. Obviously, I'm a bit of a nerd, so I liked bits of it, but obviously I can understand why a neutral or someone who's not invested in football like that wouldn't, because there wasn't many attacks. I think 2 shots to Arsenal, 1 shot to Liverpool. One shot. Yeah, I think 2 shots to Arsenal, 1 shot to City. So it was a boring game in the sense that there wasn't any, moments that make you like get that rush of adrenaline. But I think it was an okay. I think both teams definitely went there not to lose. I think there was no way that Arteta or Pep, and I think they're both similar in the sense that, unlike Klopp will go there and no matter what, I think his philosophy means that he has to go for it. He has to go on the front foot. He has to sacrifice a bit of control for goals, for final third stuff. I think Arteta's a bit more balanced in that he appreciates both sides of the game, and he wants to ensure that as much as he can, as much as he wants to attack, he wants to defend. So I think the fact that Arteta and Pep are quite similar in that aspect, the game was boring in that sense. They no one really there wasn't really any like big space moments. There wasn't really any like whenever we play Man City, for example, there's always transitions. There's always mistakes even. So in that sense, it was a game kind of boring. It was wasn't had no had it didn't have enough moments. But I think for both teams, it was probably a decent result. I think City it probably hurts them a bit more going
Mm,
forward than Arsenal. I
yeah.
think Arsenal are still in the same position that they were when they. No, I think Well, because obviously you now need Liverpool to drop points in one game, but I think you would have taken that. Do you get what I mean? So yeah, I'm not too fussed about like entertainment. Although yes, football it needs to be entertainment, but I think these guys want to win, and obviously
Yeah.
sometimes you got to be a bit boring, or they want to not lose. So I think you can't really complain, and I think hopefully going forward, the matchups between Pep and Arteta, because obviously I know that Arteta will improve the squad. Obviously Pep will as well. Hopefully, I think both teams definitely need more transition players. I think City
Yeah.
definitely need a player extra than Haaland to really cope in transitions. I think you guys definitely need maybe an extra attacker. Maybe
Mm,
there's talk about Victor Osimhen, blah blah. But I think you definitely need an attacker that can dominate transitions the way
yeah, for sure.
Nunes, Haaland, Salah, Diaz can. So I think that's probably the next step. And I think from that standpoint, I think the games between you guys should be a lot more explosive,
Mm,
a lot more entertaining for a neutral. But that's my thoughts on the game. I'm happy-ish from a Liverpool perspective. I think if Arsenal won, then that would have been. I think that would have given me the confidence to go on. I think if City won, that maybe could have given them some leeway as well. So I'm happy with the result. I think it's probably the best we could get. And so from there, we see what happens. Obviously, let's now go on to the title race as a whole.
mm,
9 games left. I think 14 games max for Liverpool and Arsenal to play. I think City maximum game that they'll play is 16 because they are in the FA Cup. So looking at that, City have more games, 2 more games. Look at the injuries as well. Arsenal and Liverpool have the same amount of games to play. Obviously, yeah. So looking at the fixtures for the three teams, I think people are saying that City have some harder games. People saying that Arsenal have easy-ish games. Looking at the styles of teams, Liverpool should have. I think we got a good fixture list apart from a few teams. But how do you think it's going to look in 9 game time on the final day? How do you think?
mm.
How do you think it's going to go? Like, how do you think it's going to go? Who do you think is going to win it? Basically, yeah.
I think right now, for sure, Liverpool favourites quite clearly. I think for sure. Um, I don't think that's for debate, to be honest, because I think right now, if you look at the top, they haven't dropped points against anyone since December.
Arsenal was it Arsenal that we
I
dropped
think
against?
apart from the rivals, you
Yeah,
haven't
yeah,
dropped points to anyone. So
yeah.
I mean, so that's obviously a big reason. Your fixture list is quite decent. I don't think it's that easy, but it's not crazy difficult at the same time.
Mm,
Um, you got some tricky like historical places to go to,
yeah.
like Everton
Us.
away, Old Trafford, etc. Um, I think Arsenal on paper have the hardest fixture list quite clearly.
Mm,
On paper, but I do think again it will be a lot to do with how we are not I'd say in the boxes. So if we
mm,
can stop any stupid errors at the back, which we make, because we don't concede many chances,
mm.
we concede off of stupidity most of the time. And
Yeah.
if we can be good at finishing up front, because I think in terms of general play, in terms of the games we've got left, stylistically, most of these opponents suit us. Like they're not gonna stylistically they match up well against us.
Mm.
If you look at, for example, Villa, they play a very high line. If you play Tottenham, again, they play very high pressing, which will give us the spaces to maybe open up, press bait them, and attack. And then you've got Man United, who are terrible. Let's be real. Like most of us shouldn't go to Old Trafford and win. Um, and then you've got like again teams like Brighton again that leave a lot of spaces behind.
Mm.
So again, these stylistically they suit. It's just gonna be how we deal with the pressure, and
Mm.
obviously fine margins. Anything can go wrong at any moment. Um, I think it can change very quickly, and I think Manchester City have the easiest running. But again, historical grounds: Crystal Palace away, Tottenham away. I think they have another ground. I think they got. Yeah, I think that was. I think they got Fulham away, which can be
They got
difficult.
Villa today, I think.
Oh yeah, they got Villa today.
Yeah.
I would expect them to win at home. To be fair,
Is that? Oh, yeah. It's at home, so they
yeah.
should. Yeah.
But but yeah, I
Should.
think if you compare the three teams, I think you'd say Liverpool. Liverpool are the best offensively. In my opinion, they're the best defensively.
Yeah.
They create the most chances in open play. They they're the most explosive, most penetrative team. If you're going to be honest, they open up teams. Like for example, Man City, Arsenal, more like more methodical. If that's the word.
Yeah. Slow.
How
Yeah.
they open teams up.
Yeah.
Liverpool's just it's more okay. Switch the play quickly, like Van Dijk to Salah, maybe quick diagonal, couple of passes and bang, like smash the ball across, all of that stuff. Yeah, Conor Bradley running up and down the wing, getting the ball. Like there's a lot of penetration, explosiveness there in your attack, but that also leads to you conceding the most chances as well. You can see the most big chances out of the three teams. So there's a balance that, like, so far you've patterned because obviously you have amazing players in both boxes, um, defensively and offensively. And then
Mm.
you've got Arsenal, who are the best defensive team, defo.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd say definite. I think in terms of high pressing, I would say probably
I think.
on
Yeah.
par. I think high pressing. I think is on par with Liverpool. I think
Do you
on
know what?
par.
I think Arsenal, their press out because even I think there was one time when I was trying to think about like what are the differences, like what do Arsenal do that we don't do, because I think Arsenal are the best at stopping teams, at sitting off in the mid block and stopping them from getting any further.
Yeah,
Liverpool's
exactly.
press is
Exactly.
better, like the high block, but I think once we
Mm,
get into a mid block, I think that's where we can
yeah,
maybe.
yeah,
But I think yeah, defensively, high block, mid block, low block, Arsenal, top.
yeah.
But yeah.
But yeah, no, you're right. You're right. So when Liverpool engage in their first line, I think you win more balls than us. But I think the way our triggers and the way we actually stop teams from building through the middle, I think is superior. So the best defensive team. I think offensively we've been the best in 2024. Offensively,
Offensively, yeah.
offensively
Stats,
in
the stats
2024,
do agree.
but as well, I think we do sometimes lack specific, like the way you guys can open up a chance from nothing. For example,
Yeah,
like kind of whipping a ball from like 30, like 50 yards out, he can swing one pass and create a chance. Salah, the way he can do that, we don't really have that. We rely a lot on suffocating teams. So I'd say we're the best defensive team and the best at suffocating teams. Um, and I'd say Man City are the best at controlling a football match. So
yeah,
in
from yeah,
their terms, Man City are the best at controlling a football match. So it's different, isn't it, to see which teams have which strengths. I'd say right now, I think I'd say all three teams have been um, quite level. I'd say if you look at it as a whole, that's why it's so close. But I think Liverpool, you have to give them more credit because obviously they've dealt with a lot of injuries,
yeah,
um, which is obviously like it's a big testament to the manager and the players that you brought in that come through to replace these injured guys that have done a good job.
yeah. I think that pretty much, I pretty much agree. I think. looking at it from now, I think it's probably going to be down to, I think, tactics maybe at this point don't really matter as much
Yeah,
now. I think
exactly.
all teams know their tactics, they have their styles, and I think stylistically, I think if looking at if Liverpool, Arsenal, City play at their best in all 9 games, they should win every game technically. But
Technically, yeah.
obviously, looking at it, I think what do you call it? Psychology. So I think like psychologically, can these teams hang in there in the big moments? Can they keep going when they're maybe 2-0 down? Obviously, City can do it definitely. Maybe, but maybe they might be shaken by their injuries. I think obviously definitely the physical aspect of it will matter. I think looking at it now, I think Arsenal and Liverpool have the healthiest teams between, and I think probably from a bad long margin if you compare it to City as well. I think
Yeah, yeah,
City usually are like ready and almost fit everyone by this point, and I mean now it seems like they're a bit wobbly in that sense. I think physically the whole team isn't as strong as they usually are compared to
mm,
previous seasons. So I think, yeah, obviously load management looking at Champions League for you guys.
mm,
Highly, you guys have really top, like Bayern are going to give you guys a game. Real Madrid always give games. So I think that aspect, I think that's why I give the edge to Liverpool because obviously we have to play Europa League and obviously that is at a high level, but I wouldn't say it's as high as playing against Real Madrid or
yeah,
Bayern Munich. So, and I think looking at it as well, we probably rotate a lot more than Arsenal even and
yeah.
City.
That's a
I would
problem.
say,
We need to, yeah.
looking at like you got Kwanzaa coming in, you got Bradley coming in, you got players like you got a midfield, but you got to play like Jones can play, Elliot can play, Maka can play, Sabozla can play. I think we have more options in that sense in the middle, and even up front. I think our attacking depth is probably the best between the 3 teams. So it feels weird to be saying this, but yeah, I actually give this Liverpool. I never at the beginning of the season I wouldn't ever have said that we would be here. Like I don't know. I don't know. It's been a miracle this season. Not miracle, but it's been amazing. Like just to see how good we've done. Like I think I was definitely one of the people that was saying that our style of play isn't sustainable. Um, it isn't good enough to compete over 30 games. But I've been proven wrong, and I think obviously looking at it, the reasons why, yeah, like you said, difference makers in both boxes. Um, it's been close calls, like Fulham 4-3 scoring like 3 goals in like 6 minutes after going down. Um, Looking at the game against Wolves, scoring in like the 86th minute when we were shocking that game. Um, this has been so many games where we just haven't been good enough, and on a usual, outcome based um, probability chart, you're gonna lose a few games because your game model isn't the best in terms of like controlling transitions and whatnot. But we've done it. I don't know. Um, Endo coming in has smashed it. I think, and I think no one banked on Endo coming in and being a key part. I think we all thought that he would be a sixth or backup sixth, so Maka would be the main guy. Um, Jones as well has carried on his form from last season. He's been really good. He's solid. Yeah, I can't lie. I think we've had injuries, but I think we've had not a bit of luck in the sense that players in players who thrive in different aspects of things that we need to be good at, like transition control. Jones, Bosley, those 2 players have kept us, even with Endo, like them being fit for most. Obviously, I know Bosley and Jones, but they've been fit for a lot of the seasons where we've struggled, and it's worked. Obviously, Van Dijk's never injured. Kwanzaa coming in, we would have been finished because no one expected him to come in and
Yeah,
play against City. You know what I mean? Like he looked at home against City. Um, Bradley, I think obviously I think Liverpool fans knew about Bradley, but again, we didn't expect it to be like this. We thought it'd be Joe Gomez. Joe Gomez as well. He's been
yeah,
sensational.
he did really well.
Field, right
Really
back,
well.
left back. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I can't lie, we've had injuries, but I feel like we've had plays that we need for like transition control, for versatility, trying to make sure that we fill the right back, left back spot. So yeah, I can't lie, I don't know. I don't know. It's not like a miracle, but it's mad. It's mad. Um, so yeah, I think it's gonna be tough Now I probably believe. I think 9 games left, just Europa League to play. I don't think Klopp
You man
lets
have
it
got 8 games left. Let's be real, man. Got 8 games. You got Sheffield
be played.
United.
Yeah, tomorrow. Yeah,
Left, man.
yeah. That should be, hopefully should be smooth. But yeah, like, who do you guys have next? You guys have
We got
Luton.
Luton tonight.
Yeah,
We got Luton tonight. So
should
hopefully we can
be
win that.
should be
But I
good.
think we need to win that well because I can't lie. I'm expecting a 6-0 tomorrow. I'm expecting a 6-0.
Yeah. So yeah, man, I think we'll call it a day for the podcast today. Um,
Yeah,
I think we've been able to record basically apart from one little
yeah,
unhindered. So
finally, bro.
yeah, literally.
Some
So yeah,
technical madness last few days, man.
it's been crazy. It's been crazy. But yeah, we'll call it a day, guys. Yeah, obviously this podcast is gonna be on all podcast streaming platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, whatever you listen to, Amazon. I think Amazon has a podcast streaming website. Whatever it is, it's going to be on there, and obviously it'll be on YouTube, the video. So yeah. Thank you for listening. Thank you for listening. If you listen to the end, and hopefully this is the first of many. And yeah, we'll call it a day. That's been me, Samuel.
Obviously, like, subscribe, and
Yes,
follow
of
us on
course,
socials, man. So
of
as you
course,
can
of
see
course.
down below. Yeah. So yeah, take care, you man.
Take care.